I told y'all I'll put a video up sometime so y'all keep the channel. I'm real tired of everybody glorifying the '90s, y'all. I don't know why everybody doing that, but this generation today, the younger generation need to stop glorifying the '90s because if they was actually in the '90s, they would run back to this generation. Okay, every generation looks every past generation looks good to some people. Okay, I forget what it's called, but it's a type of they call it something when you think a previous generation was better than the one you're in. And the important thing is to talk to people who was from those times so you'll realize to stop glorifying those times. You know, there's nothing glorifying worth glorifying about the '90s when everybody was so comfortable with their 9 to 5 job, when everybody was just real comfortable um with welfare benefits and stuff, and people was real comfortable with being real fake. It was like real normal to be fake. You know, nobody would call you out for being fake back then. You know, there wasn't no cancel culture. You could just be fake and still, still be in. So people need to stop glorifying the '90s. Hi everybody. I was hoping I'd get more people in here, but I guess a lot of people ain't on. I just don't feel like getting on screen right now, y'all. I just don't. Not on this subject, because people like to attack people when we talk about the '90s. Hi everybody. Come on in, everyone. I know y'all see me in the news feed. So yeah, stop glorifying the '90s, y'all. You know, I was a teenager in the '90s. I know people who grew up, who was a teenager in the '80s and the '70s, and they was around in the '90s, and they will tell you it's a no, y'all. It's a hard pass on the '90s. I was a teenager. I was old enough to remember the '90s. I was literally in high school in the '90s. It's a hard pass, y'all. Okay. Um, I can't tell how many people who are in here. I can't tell. I'm not sure what channel I'm on. I hope I'm on the right channel. I'll be right back, y'all. All right, y'all. I'm back. Sorry about that. Um, if you got to be careful with what you glorify, because what you glorify is what you'll manifest. And if you're glorifying the '90s, then you may end up manifesting what we manifested in the '90s. And all we was manifesting in the '90s was 9 to 5 jobs, bus passes, and possible baby daddies. That's it. You know, it was like living a hard life, but not knowing it, because you're being taught that nothing is better. Nothing can do better. Like that's the best you could do. That's how people were thinking in the '90s. People were thinking that oh, they could be artistic, but they got to hit the lottery to get successful. So a lot of people weren't even really chasing their dreams. They was like, I'll just keep my 9 to 5 job. So, and it was all about popularity. It was always about who you knew. It wasn't like you could just put something out there and you might, go viral. It wasn't like that, because we didn't have the internet. So back then it was all about who you knew and whose booty you was kissing and who you was sucking up to. So I don't know why everybody's glorifying the '90s. Everybody want to glorify the '90s over the real skinny bodies, but it's not hard to get skinny. You could do the same thing they did, but understand the way everybody was getting skinny back then, it was sacrificing their brain cells. And this is what a lot of people don't realize. Why do you think a lot of people who was teens in the '90s, a lot of them did not do nothing big. They're in their 40s and 50s and haven't really achieved much, and just sitting up there planning to retire from their 9 to 5 job. Because the diets and the things that we were eating in the '90s were not good for creative energy, was not good for intervention. It was like if you came up with a great creative idea, you was like considered somebody like real special or gifted. Nowadays, people, one person is coming up with 15, 20 creative ideas. But back then, if you could think of one creative idea that was abundant, you was like extra popular. That's just how low vibe mentally everybody was. You know, everything that glitters and gold. Everybody might have looked thin and looked good because of all the makeup and the wigs and the weaves and the all the cardio they were forced to have because only people with real money, good money, could get a car. Yeah, they looked good. But, okay, but a lot of people were not creating nothing. Like, for example, not too many people could get into Kappa or creative performing arts schools, where me and my family members did. Okay, some of my family members did, so did I. But that's because we were on a different diet. We were living a different lifestyle than most people were living. Most people around me and my siblings, they were on a basic 90s lifestyle. Me and my siblings were raised mostly like Amish. Okay? So we because we were so much into our artistry, we was considered to be weird. But a lot of people weren't. A lot of people were like, oh, I do this for fun. It's a little fun, but I ain't doing this as a career. But the fact that me and my siblings were pursuing it as a career, our art gifts as a career, we were thought to be weird. See what I'm saying? And even still, the racism and discrimination was not monitored. Okay? It was not monitored. So if you didn't kiss enough booty and you was of color, it didn't matter how gifted you was. It really didn't matter. You still wouldn't be allowed to climb. Okay? The jobs was very racist, and we just all had to suck it up. And no one cared how we felt on the jobs. No one. There was no human resources. You know, if you walked out of a job in the 90s, you were blocked from all jobs in that city. You know, you were blacklisted. It was serious stuff. There was no internet to run to get another job, to work online, or side hustles you could do online, or YouTube you could do online until you got off somebody's blacklist. It wasn't. We didn't have that option. You had no choice but to not burn any bridges with employers, especially if you were black. Okay, I'm breaking it down because a lot of people, it's almost like a lot of people don't remember what it was like. You know, a lot of 90s people, teenagers who were in the 90s, you notice a lot of them don't even want to talk about the 90s. Only people talking about the 90s is the 20 and 30-year-olds who were like tiny little kids. You know, who was like 7 years old, who didn't get to see the working part of the 90s, the grinding part, the racism. So it just cracks me up. They're just like 30-year-olds thinking they can speak on the 90s. Like you were like 5 years old, 7 years old. Like, no, you don't know nothing. You were a little kid. Everybody was doing everything for you. But I was an actual teenager getting my first job in early 90s. Okay? I was literally up in high school as a teenager. So I know what it was like. I remember what my mother was going through. How my mother was literally slaved out for $5 an hour, like $4.75. Literally slaved out. No health benefits, no nothing. No nothing but $4.75. And now people say that's a lot. No, it was not a lot because the rent of the homes was not that much lower. Okay? The rent was still too high. Like it's too high now, it was still too high. But the thing was, you couldn't even get help unless you had a car. Wasn't nobody bringing food to your door. Okay? Wasn't nobody bringing you whole Thanksgiving dinners to your door like they do now. You know, food banks will literally drop off food to your actual door in the North. That wasn't going on in the 90s. You had to know someone to get a ride to get to the food bank. It was all about who you knew. It was all about who you knew. And there's people right now making buku money under the table, and they're in their 60s or they're in their 50s because they know people. They knew people all the way when back in the 90s. I know a guy who makes $3,000 in this street almost a month. Just in these streets doing legal activities. Nothing illegal. It's because he's in his 60s and he knows so many people that he knew that he met in the 90s. So he's using those contacts he made in the 90s. That when there was no internet to meet other people. But nowadays you have the chance to meet all kind of people all over the world. Back in the 90s, you were only able to meet the people of your own neighborhood unless you had money to travel. Now you can get new books. You can get books for cheap. $5 books are in mint condition. We couldn't get books. We couldn't get books in mint condition. We couldn't. We were walking the streets trying to sell our college books. Just to be able to pay for our college meals for 1 month. People were literally walking the streets selling their college books just to be able to eat for the month at college. So when people glorify the 90s, I say please stop doing that. Okay? How is the 90s any better when you had to be fake to make it? You had to fake it to make it. You had to. You couldn't get no job wearing no afro. Wasn't nobody hiring you with no afro. Wasn't nobody hiring you with your natural. You weren't. You would get a job and you'll be working in the basement or the mailroom. You'll be working way back in the kitchen, making crumbs. And everyone wore makeup. If you didn't wear makeup, you wasn't attractive. You probably wouldn't even get a job or get a date unless you had makeup on. It was that real back then. Okay, if you went out with your girlfriends, and everyone was wearing makeup, the guys would definitely choose them over you. You had to go with the beauty standards, the European beauty standards. It was very hard to get respect being natural. It didn't matter how neat your afro was. Okay? The America was trying to destroy any self-love in the black community. So they were gatekeeping, the right to be natural. It was like, oh, only way you could be a natural person of color is if you're doing a labor job. So I don't know why people glamorize in the 90s. Like I would love to see these 30-year-olds with their natural afro hair time warp back to the 90s and see what jobs they'll get. They darn sure won't be working no desk job. So this is just the real talk. And a lot of us, I'm gonna keep it real, a lot of us were starving and just pushing through. But people want to act like that wasn't going on. Okay? A lot of black folks were literally starving and just finding ways to make it through the hunger. Okay? Finding things to do to ignore the hunger. We were all doing things to ignore the hunger. And it was like the normal thing to do. And I don't know why no one talks about that. Like, I can remember us like just jumping from one activity to another when it was time for dinner. Just trying to hold off until our parents got home to make dinner. It was like in the 90s, you was hungry, you was just hungry. That was just it. Everybody had too many mouths to feed. And so you didn't have enough money. There wasn't no McDonald's and all that like right near somebody's house back then. So, and you weren't giving McDonald's money 2-3 days a week. These kids nowadays are running around with $20-$30 in their pocket weekly almost. Like I remember when my daughter was in high school, she was saying that. Like I was like, wow, like if we got $5 a month to get an ice cream cone, we would feel blessed. You guys don't ever have to feel hunger. Y'all can just go ahead and get your $20-$30 to spend every 2 weeks and just go and get candy and all this different stuff. We would have to beg for just $2 to spend at the candy store, and it wasn't every day. These kids are able to go to the candy store every single day now. And I know because I live near the candy store. I live near an old-fashioned candy store, and I literally see kids walk there every single day. If you was able to go to the candy store every single day, you had money. You had money. But most people in the 90s could not do that every day. But I'm seeing today a lot of kids all up in the candy store, all up in there. They got to put up. They didn't put up cameras because kids stealing and while buying candy and stealing at the same time, all kind of stuff. So I just wanted to talk to y'all that I see a lot of men on here saying what happened to the women. First of all, the women got older. When people show pictures of people from the 90s, it's always somebody that's 19 or 20 or 17. Of course, most teenagers look good. So I don't know why people glorifying the beauty of teenagers in the 90s. Like saying what happened to the women. The women over 40 and 50, from what I see, they still look pretty good. The 40, 50-year-old woman is looking pretty good. I mean, Angela Bassett looks pretty good. Okay, the 50-year-old women. I mean, overall, I look pretty good for my age. I look pretty good for my age. Haven't had to work a 9-to-5 job so long because there was no internet. The funny thing is people love to say that the 90s people, 90s women and people started to age very fast, came the 2000s or whatever. Like the later 1990s, we started to age faster because we were still slaves. Okay? We had to work. A lot of the teenagers today, they may look younger than what we looked in the 90s. They might not be as skinny, but they look younger, less wrinkles or whatever, because they're not working. My daughter says that the teenagers stay quitting the job where she works at. And she said it's not even toxic because she's one of the managers. It's not even toxic. But they don't want to work. They think they're too good to make $15 an hour, yet they have no education. So they're sitting at home. A lot of the teenagers are living off somebody or living with someone or sitting at home and just doing YouTube, making money. So of course they're not aging as fast as the teenage 90 generation. So all this, oh yeah, y'all look good, but then y'all started to age fast. Like, oh, y'all got in y'all 30s and y'all looked like y'all was in y'all 40s. Just about, how hard some of y'all look or whatever. While we darn sure were still in our slave jobs that we already put 15 years in that we didn't want to leave at that point. While you're doing YouTube, while you're living with your grandmother and you're only in your 20s. This is a real video. And I already knew a lot of people would leave because a lot of people just don't want to have this conversation. A lot of people think they know the 90s, but yet weren't old enough to remember, weren't there, and just looking at pictures. Everybody was just like thinking that 9-to-5 job was safe. Like 9-to-5 job, school, home, school, to the club, to the park, to the mall. Everybody was just thinking that it was so safe. Like everybody was literally thinking they could never get fired. No one was even thinking they could get fired. And then when they started to get fired and all the layoffs happened after Bush came in office, and that's when the teenage 90 generation had a wake-up call, like, Dad, wow, we got blindsided. The teenage 90 generation got blindsided in their 20s. I was 25 years old when I got blindsided by the American government. So I'm having to talk with y'all because I'm not going to be talking much. I gotta be off the channel for a little while. I don't know how long my medical leave is going to be. It might be 3 weeks. I don't know, y'all. But I'm gonna talk to y'all until I can barely talk right now. But until I stop, until I have to stop, I'll do some little short videos so y'all keep the channel. But it's time to stop glorifying the 90s, y'all. I don't want to go back. It's a hard pass. I'm glad it's behind me. I made more money on the YouTube streets and other ways that I ever made in the 90s. And being able to be myself and being able to be the way I was born. I made more money then. I made more money. I made more money in side hustles than I made a year in a 9-to-5 job in the 90s. And that's just the truth. That's just how poorly we was paid and normalizing it. I'm just and then what gets me is that these 30-year-old dudes and these young dudes is sitting around leeching off of older women who were in their teens in the 90s, using us for content. And it's like, go right ahead. But what is the point of having a lean body if your brain is trash? And I don't know why. I don't know why people care more about a skinny body than their actual brain. And it's like you can't get a new brain. So my thing is everyone's trying to do an embellished, exaggerated version of the 90s diet, but they're sacrificing their brain cells doing that. That's what they're doing. All that sugar. And that's just crazy. And there's going to be people that argue with me. Oh, sugar, yes, it does. It does mess up your brain. Yes, it does. If you could eat a load of sugar, way more sugar we ate in the 90s, how come the hospitals don't give it to you? Because they know, okay? I've never ever created as good as I can create when I have low sugar in me. I always create better with lower sugar in me. And I still could work out and do cardio. Back in the 90s, a 20-minute workout was good enough, or 30-minute. Now everybody's like, I want to work out at the gym for 2 hours, so I want to eat like 500 grams of sugar just so I could bust it out in the gym for 3 hours. I'm like, that is crazy. What are you, like, on the slave chain gang or something? I mean, you're your own slave master cracking a whip on you. Like, wow, that's shocking. And then it's like you have nothing, you're not going to have nothing left after that to create anything. Yeah, you may have burned 400, 500 calories, but why didn't you just eat less food? Like, I don't understand why people can't, why people need to train 3 hours at the gym as if that's going to make them get muscle faster. There's exercises you can do that will firm you up fast without training 3 hours at the gym, 500 grams of sugar. And you can always eat less food. And you can keep your fat really low so you don't eat more food, too much food. So I don't understand why people are just like, oh, I'm just gonna do a toxic version of the 90s diet because I wanna go, I wanna live, I wanna make the gym my home. It's like, that's crazy. If there's gonna be a lot more people, mark my word, a lot more people there's an epidemic with creative energy. There's an epidemic now. Okay? And we're going to see a lot of men, all they walking around is with good bodies and they ain't create nothing. Because they chasing the exaggerated version of the 90s diet. I'm telling y'all no lie. You want to be able to lose weight and create at the same time. I don't understand why they can't just do it the way the Victoria's Secret models do. They just eat less food. They get some cardio in. They do a little workout every day. Sorry about the noise, y'all. I gotta wait till the phone pick up. My phone's ringing. I want to say live. I don't know what that means. So, y'all, I'm not trying to look old and dried up and bumpy face and looking all old, eating loads of sugar. I'm telling you no lie. Okay? If you eat too much sugar long enough, you're going to think like you're going to be like, yeah, I'm leaner. But if you look at some of these people that eat all that sugar, they look old in the face, and they're just living in delusions, thinking that they're not. They look old in the face. In the 90s, we weren't loading up on all that sugar. I don't know how people got it got it twisted. If anything, we were going long periods of time without food, ridiculously long periods of time. Sometimes we would eat breakfast and we would go all day, and the only thing we had was sweet tea. We might have had some lemonade, some southern tea, some old school southern tea. That was it. That was it. And then we would have dinner. We weren't always eating lunch in school. I can remember going to lunch in high school and literally just getting me some juice and a small salad. Like literally, that was it. Sometimes I'd be like, I'm just getting in this line to get me some juice. That's it. And I didn't even eat lunch all the time. And our lunches were ridiculously small or not at all. We would just, push through. We always had breakfast. We didn't always have lunch. And, we were too busy like being creative, doing art stuff, going to the park, hanging out with friends, and drinking our little juice, sometimes gin and juice or whatever, but we were hanging out. We were hanging out so much that we didn't care about time. By the time we went home, it would be late. It would be late, like 10 o'clock. We'd be having dinner that late. And dinner was a small meal. Dinner was a small meal. Lunch was optional. And sometimes what we had for lunch was maybe just a granola bar. That was it. Juice and granola. We didn't even have protein all the time for lunch. I don't know where this came from. Like, you got to have protein 3 times a day, 3 meals a day. In the 90s, we weren't doing that. Sometimes we went to the store. We got a granola bar. I remember very, very clearly eating a granola bar and sweet tea for lunch on my job in 1997. And I was super lean. Okay? And then when I would get off work, like at 11 o'clock. That's when I would stop at like a little restaurant and get me like a tuna, like Jersey Mike's. You know how they have like tuna sandwiches at Jersey Mike. I would have something like that. I would grab me a tuna sandwich on the way home, and it would be a double stacked tuna sandwich. Basically, it would be 60 grams of protein in that tuna sandwich. And I would grab that and a drink and go home. And I would, when I got home, I would eat that. Get my clothes out, study a little bit, maybe write a little bit, go to sleep, and do it all over again. But we weren't always eating candy all through the day. I don't know where that came from. I don't know. That wasn't an everyday thing, and it damn sure wasn't 500 grams of sugar every day. Not in the granulated sugar and not in candy. We didn't have 5 popsicles a day. I don't know where that came from. But people who are not from the 90s, they don't have all the information, so they're just like making it up to get views on YouTube, and it's very toxic. Y'all, for example, I've been up. Let's see, 6, 7, 8, 10. I'm already past lunchtime. Okay, I'm doing the 90s diet right now. My 90s diet, the way most of everybody around me did it. And, this is what we did around lunchtime. We would talk so much. We were talking so much, y'all, that we wasn't even thinking about a whole meal for lunch. We just wasn't. We had our juice and our granola. Like I'm about to have right now. Okay? I'm about to have me some whole grain, and have me some seeds. Sometimes we were just eating seeds, y'all. We ate seeds through our day, sunflower seeds. So that's why when the lunch came, we wasn't that hungry. Hi, everybody. So sometimes Sometimes the body don't even want a meal. We understood that in the 90s. You know, we didn't always run for a meal when we was hungry. Sometimes we just ran for like some sunflower seeds, some nuts. We ate to calm the hunger. We didn't eat to get rid of the hunger. Nowadays, everybody's like, "Oh, get rid of your hunger completely." We ate so that we wouldn't feel so hungry. But we never got full. We never ate to get full. Nobody was running around with full bellies in the 90s. Only people that was running around with full bellies was old people. People over 45. Okay? Wasn't nobody running around like stuffed up. Now there was days that we didn't eat all day. We just ate nuts and seeds and berries all day. You know, like great berries. We ate like a bird all day, and then we ate our big meal at dinner. You know, we just ate a big meal for dinner. But most of the time, that wasn't every day though. We didn't do that every day. But we have to stop glorifying by the fact that wasn't nobody even paying attention to how much sugar they was eating. Like nobody cared if they had 400 or 500 grams of sugar by accident. They would just be like, "Oh, I had no ideas. Oh, I'm blocked. I'm not inspired. I don't know why." Meanwhile, they didn't know it's because they had too much sugar that day. Now that we know how sugar can block your downloads, too much sugar, now it's a fair fight for success. See, now it's a fair fight. Now all generations can get downloads and ideas. All right, bye everybody. I'll see y'all later. This content is not for fair use. Please don't use without my express permission. Okay? If Cole Robinson is watching, Cole, I know you watch all my videos. Please stop taking my content, bro. Okay? Everybody's starting to notice that you're mirroring my energy. Cole Robinson, if you're watching me, and any other thirsty, bag chasing, greedy dude that want to rip off black women because they think no one cares about us, stop taking my content on this channel. Okay? Somebody emailed me and told me that they can see that you in my energy, and somebody else noticed too. Cole, stop. You've been watching my 90s videos, and whatever I say about health and fitness, you put up a video up at 3 o'clock in Eastern time every day, repeating what I'm saying. Get about my energy, because all you're doing is piling up your karma. That's why you can't stop screaming and hollering. That's why you can't stop cursing. Because you're arrogant. People don't understand when you copy people and you steal from people. Who you see is you see their destiny, and you see that they're destined to be successful, and you steal their energy and copy them. You don't get the energy of humbleness. You might come show up with that content, but everybody will know that you're toxic. Your character will be out of control. You will not have no self-discipline. And all you'll attract is people who are low-key, low vibe, like you. I'm explaining it to these dudes who keep ripping off empresses. That's the reason why y'all up on YouTube cussing after every other word, telling anybody to shut up, even though they didn't do nothing. Just saying shut up, even though nobody said nothing, ignorant in your life. You all arrogant and cocky and all of that. You're gonna stay in that energy, and people gonna cut you off because they don't like your character. You're gonna stay in that energy because you're too busy. You're too busy thinking you got it made because you ripped off an empress. You think you're invincible because you ripped off an empress whose destiny you can see. I'm talking to all the men. Okay? You're going to find that you can't attract decent women. Whenever you rip off an empress, your character will never get the other vibration for that manifestation. You'll never get it. You'll notice that right when you thought you was going to get a whole lot because you ripped off an empress, took her ideas, reworked her ideas, took her knowledge, right when you thought you was going to get a whole lot, You notice you're not getting nowhere near as much as you thought, and then you start to be out of control. You start hammering everybody's energy. That's what you're doing, Cole. Cole Robinson, that's what you're doing. Try not watching me and try to stop not watching other women, and your character will be better. Like, seriously. One thing I found out is when you watch other creators and you monitor their energy and you say, "Oh, yeah, I could do that." You will not show up with the humble energy that is required for you to convince these angels that you deserve the true abundance that come with that download that you took. Okay? You might get crumbs, but you will never get a true high vibrational woman interested in you. There will be weak women, desperate women, hopeless women interested in you. That is what you'll get. A woman is codependent. That's what you'll get. That's the price for ripping off empresses. True empresses. No, there's some men that jumped out of here because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. And women, if you're ripping off other empresses, the same thing will go for you when you trying to attract men. You'll attract men that can't stand you. You'll attract men who will literally who will think that you're out of control, that you're a dogmatic empress. You cannot take from someone without being in competitive energy as well. Low vibrational competitive energy. Because in order to want to take and copy comes from lack. You have lack mindset. If you're copying and stealing and reworking all that, it's because you don't trust in your own power, your own ability to channel and download from God. You don't trust in that. You're coming from lack and insecurity, and it will always come out in the way you talk. You will sound desperate. There will be some desperation in your energy. Class is in session. I could get on here and I could do a whole YouTube channel talking about everything that was taken from me from the male fitness community and all of that. I can get on it and I will do my videos will do better. I'm gonna tell you why my videos will do better is because I will be matching the humble vibration of that download because it was given to me. In order to get a download, you have to be in humble energy. In order to get the all the way through, the deeper into that lesson, you have to be humble. You can't come from lack or worry or fear or competitive energy. So because I didn't have that energy, then at some point the angels have to have that content, get the recognition that it's supposed to get in one way or another, the real recognition, the abundant recognition. Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to copy people. You know why? Because you're riding on a stale vibration. You're basically going through the thrift store and finding a thrift store vibration. You're still going to be competing with the original vibration, the original metaphysical version of the thing. So it makes no sense. All you're getting is crumbs. And that's very sad. When you can go ahead and release your own download, you get your own downloads, and you can get the original money instead of what's left over. But people nowadays, they're like, oh, I ripped somebody off. And got 5,000 views. Yay! Yet, if they had got their own download, literally from their own energy, they would probably have more views than that. Because they would be matching the metaphysical version of that download. They would be matching it. But everybody is just so comfortable with getting the bare minimum. Well, I got 5,000 views. I'm good on that. I literally never have to worry about money not coming to me. Money will keep coming to me. You know why money keep coming to me? Because I'm matching my download. My metaphysical space matches, and highly intuitive divine people can pick it up whether you are matching energetically what you're teaching. People can pick that up. True divine ones can pick that up. Now, I'm having a talk. I'm having a real talk. I'm gonna doing some cleaning. I'm gonna get on here. Okay. Hi everybody. So the only true way to succeed is being real, y'all. I know it seems like, oh, you be fake and you copy and all that. No, I'm telling you, no lie. At some point, you don't know how many people copied the download that you copied. So what happens when you have to prove your value without the people you're copying? What happens then? What happens? What happens if I leave YouTube altogether and these people that's used to leeching off of me? What are y'all going to do? Like, what are y'all going to do? So now you see what I'm saying. Like, never get so dependent on someone else to give you something to make money. Never do that, y'all. People die, come and go. People leave YouTube. I left YouTube 4 years before. Some of y'all may not know, but I left this channel for like 4 years. And I'm going to be leaving again very soon, for sure. Might be permanent. I don't know. I have a medical thing. I have to leave. So what are all these leeches are going to do? They can't access my private videos. So what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Hunt for another leech? And see, some people, they handle leeching and stealing with violence. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to step in other people's destinies. Not everybody take it peacefully like I'm taking it. I'm taking it kind of easy. Other people are not doing that. And it shows you're desperate. And it blocks all other downloads. If you were going to get some downloads that day, you're screwed. You might as well forget it. You shape shifted. You might have was going to come up. The creator could have had something real powerful for you, but you want to shapeshift. I'm saying this because I will be leaving. I'm taking a health medical break starting today. Okay? I'm only going to be able to upload solid videos, maybe one video, maybe a video of somebody else that's public domain or something. I'm not going to be talking on this channel. I don't know how long. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what what the doctor's going to say, but I do know that I do know that it's something serious. So I cannot waste my energy on a channel where people do not respect my copyrights. But I will be on my lifestyle channel, still doing my dance workouts. I'm gonna work out no matter what. I like to do dance workouts. So unless I drop dead, I'm not gonna stop dancing. Okay. So I hope I see y'all on my lifestyle channel. One video is going up a week on this channel from here on out because I need the energy to flow to my lifestyle. That's where I'm going to be. That's where I want to be. And I'm starting a new channel. So y'all gonna start to see that there ain't that many videos on this channel. Y'all gonna start to see that, and there's a lot of videos y'all ain't gonna be able to see. It's not public, but there will be new videos that ain't my videos, okay? Public domain videos that I think people need to watch at that time, and I'll be uploading them to this channel just so the channel don't get deleted, because they do delete channels that are non-active for 6 months, okay? So if I'm non-active on this channel for 6 months, YouTube will delete it. But this is it, y'all, okay? This is it. I want to get back into lifestyle. I really don't even want to sit here and teach like this no more. I would rather put stuff in books and PDFs and have my peace and sit in my life in peace without the toxic community, without the toxic black community. You know, I'm not saying everybody toxic, but there's a lot of people that's toxic in the black community, and I really don't want to open door to it anymore. And I want to kick a lot of people out of my energy. I figure if someone goes to my lifestyle channel, you know, if they're negative on my lifestyle channel, then I'll know that they were stalking me because they most likely came from here. Or I'll know that, you know, somebody just hateful. But if someone supports my lifestyle channel, then I know they're really for me. You know, I feel like this. If someone don't care about my life, then they don't care about what I got to teach them. They just don't care. Okay? If they don't care about my health, my life, my growth, then why am I going to sit up here and teach somebody for breadcrumbs on YouTube? I'm not going to do that. I know who my team is. I met a lot of my team. I already know that I can send them stuff and they'll still donate to me. I don't have to post anything on this channel to get donations. I can literally just email my group through my newsletter and teach them things that they need to know, and they'll support me. So I only kept this channel for people that couldn't afford to connect with me. You know, couldn't afford my books and PDFs and emails. I was trying to be nice. I was trying to look out for people who don't got no money. That's why I kept this channel after all the abuse. But I have to think about myself now too. Okay, y'all? So I hope I see y'all on my lifestyle channel. Bye, everybody.